I was drumming in a band, thinking I was going to be the next Ringo star, but when it dawned on me that I wasn't going to be, I thought I'd better go and get a proper job. And I had a cousin working in a post-production company called Allein Moore. This is back in about 1991. And I said, look, the band's not really going anywhere, I need a job, I need to get some money. And she said, well, we're looking for a receptionist. And so I said, well, I will apply for it. So I took the receptionist job, and throughout the time that I was drumming in the band, as well as sort of managing the band and organising all the posters and letting the band know where they had to be and being the guy in the band that got the gigs, sorted out the money, I was very much a producer, even though I didn't know it at the time. And I was also good at getting us gigs, you know, talking to club owners, talking to bar owners, and I was the guy that could convince them to give us an opportunity. And I was also doing jobs during the band time, selling advertising in newspapers, or selling suits, or selling insurance. And so my natural way was to be a salesperson and a producer, although I didn't know that at the time of the band. I was just trying to get the band to the top of the charts. But those skills definitely travelled with me. I became a receptionist at Molinare, and within a very short period of time, I was getting on very well with the clients, and I could see that half the edit suites that we had were full, and half of them were empty. And when in my second week, the manager said to me, how do you like your job here? I said, I'm loving it, but I'm a bit concerned that half the rooms aren't being used. And she said, it's all right, we're making a good rate, you don't have to worry about that too much. And I said, I can fill all the other rooms in this place. And she said, how will you do that? I said, give me a phone, give me Campaign magazine, give me Promo magazine, and I'll fill these rooms. And I did. I got on the phones, I told them how great the company I was working for was. I asked them to come and see me, let me show you around the place. I was enthusiastic about the music videos we were doing, and I filled the place. I filled the place using the talent, not just the suites. I always believe in the talent that you're working with is the most important thing. Everyone's got rooms, everyone's got kit, it's the people that are doing it that matter. And so I had a guy called Aidan. He was a colourist, and we were doing lots of work together, and after a short period of time, he did Army of Me by Bjork, which was directed by Michel Gondry, who went on to direct Eternal Sunrise of the Spotless Mind. I think that's the name of the film, the one with Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. And he was a brilliant music video director. When that song became a hit, everyone wanted to use Aidan, and the rest was history. The rooms were all full, and so on. And all those music video guys went on to move to commercials, and with the advent of them moving into commercials, along came visual effects, and particularly technology like Flame or Edit Box. And I was one of the very first Flame producers for music videos and also for commercials, and I understood the technology, I understood how you could apply it to music videos and how you could tell stories in different ways. And so went from being a colour guy with Aidan to being a special effects guy. Started going on sets, learning more about how you shoot visual effects. And throughout my career, 25 years of my career, the dominating part has been visual effects, really. I've had my own music company, I've run editing companies, but visual effects has been the main theme. Then a couple of years ago, I got a call from Happy Finish, which was essentially a stills retouch and CGI company with a studio in London and a studio in India. And they had just received some investment money from venture capitalists to invest in the company and to expand further. And the areas they wanted to expand into were motion visual effects, which was my background, but also interactive, virtual reality, augmented reality. And so I took over 2 years ago. I still keep on my production and my sales hats, but I've actually learned a lot more now about recruiting staff, taking care of strategy, looking after operations, looking after processes and organising a business. So I've furthered my career doing so. I've really enjoyed the new things I've learned, and that's where I am now. Well, like I was saying, we moved into interactive services a couple of years ago when I started the company, and in particular, when you move into interactive, there's so many things you could do. You could say it could be a games company or a banners company. We decided to just specialise in two things. We've always been, as a company, we've always been about making brands look good. We've always been about creating stunning images. And so we narrowed our scope and we said, let's focus on virtual reality and augmented reality. And that's really the subject of my talk, this new technology and the opportunities that it brings to brands to engage with consumers in different ways, look at different ways of storytelling. And so for the past couple of years, we've been creating experiences for brands like Mercedes, for Honeywell, for Lufthansa. Many different clients are starting to adopt these new technologies, but yet people are still quite unfamiliar with them. And so what I'm doing is going from festival to festival around the world, and I'm here at AdFest to talk about the experiences we've already created, what they were like, how long they took, what they can do, and what opportunities they can bring to brands. I would say the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality is this. In augmented reality, you use your device, like your iPad or your iPhone, for example, you hold that up to the real world, and you juxtapose within that CGI content or other content. So you might be in a room like we're in now, you put a tracking marker on the floor, you aim your camera at the tracking mark and suddenly a van appears in the room with you. That's augmented reality, to augment CGI content or other content with the real world through the camera on your device. Virtual reality, on the other hand, immerses you in another world altogether. So rather than looking at a camera to see the real world, you put on a headset such as this one made by Samsung, an Oculus Rift, and that will transport you into a totally different world. You can find yourself behind the steering wheel of a Formula One car chasing around the Nuremberg Ring, or on a helicopter flying over cities, going around galleries. Virtual reality can bring you, it immerses you into another world entirely, and so that's the key difference between the two technologies. Well, I'm going to start by showing the first augmented reality experience that we created. I think it's a nice way to start because it actually kind of happened by accident. We've always worked with Mercedes, we've always created still images for Mercedes, and they called us up one day and they said, we've got a problem. What's the problem? They said, we're doing a show to show 250 people in London the new Mercedes Citan van. We said, that sounds great, what's the problem? They said, we haven't got a van. And so they said, hopefully we can do this via augmented reality. So we created an experience where within a big marquee, we had tracking markers on the ground which were the size of the actual van, and people using iPads could walk around the tracking markers 10 at a time, and they could all observe the van from every single angle. And when we took on that project in 2012, we hadn't done augmented reality before, but rather than contract it out to someone else as a company, we did the CGI vehicles, because that's what we've always done for Mercedes, but we also brought on developers and we created the entire experience right from the beginning through to giving Mercedes 50 iPads with the application already on it for them to enjoy at the event. And the event was a massive success, and we nailed it. And so we thought, right, this is something we can now do. Let's develop this technology and take it out to other clients. And since we've done that, we've done an application for Homebase, which is a furniture company in London. We've worked with Lufthansa on an application which shows people the benefits of upgrading from premium class to economy, from economy to premium, where you get 50% extra legroom. And so we've been creating augmented reality for experiences for clients on devices. We've also just worked with Skoda. We took over in Waterloo Station in London, which is London's busiest railway station. There's Europe's largest advertising screen. It's 40 metres long by 3 metres wide. We set up a stall where people could configure their ideal Skoda, okay, what colour roof, what colour wood, type of wheels, put their name and address details in it, and then they would sit on a chair on a green screen, push a button, and on this biggest screen in Europe, live in front of you, the car would build around you like a transformer, and it would say your name, saying, "Welcome, Simon, to your new Skoda Fabia." And this was one of the world's first augmented reality posters. So I'll be showing that tomorrow. And in the virtual reality scope, I want to demystify virtual reality. Virtual reality can be used on headsets such as the one I just showed you, which is about £700 domestic price roughly, but it can also be used on something like Google Cardboard, which is about £7.50 and works with your mobile phone. And this is the technology which is going to make virtual reality ubiquitous. Everyone's going to be able to use it, and so I want to show people that virtual reality can be fully CGI, live action, a juxtaposition of the two. There's so much scope in how you can employ virtual reality. It's a new technology, people are fascinated by it. Everyone who puts on the headset is amazed, and so I want to thrill them with the technology, but also explore the way that it can extend storytelling for a campaign. As a company, we have done work for Asia, not so much in the virtual or augmented realm, although we are starting to get great inquiries, quite exciting inquiries from the Asian market. But I have a studio in Shanghai, I have another studio in Mumbai, and both of them are doing fantastic work for the local market, working with clients like Coca-Cola, Volvo, Nike, etc., all the sort of blue chip companies work with us, and we've done a lot of work. In fact, some of our work is here in AdFest right now. There's a Porsche campaign for Fred and Farid Shanghai, which we did the retouch work on, so we're thrilled to see that here at AdFest this year. Our clients are global, and we felt we needed to be global too. We needed to position ourselves near to our clients. So, for example, the Portland studio is deliberately set up to align ourselves with Nike. Nike are one of our biggest clients. We do a load of work with them, and by setting up a studio in Portland, we're able to sort of walk through their corridors, meet them, handshakes, go to bars, find out more work. And we've noticed since we moved to Portland a huge increase in the amount of work that we do for Nike. So that's one thing. But the other thing is pricing. Over the past couple of years, various things have happened. There's been a lot more direct-to-client work. There's been a lot more procurement officer involvement in bidding, and people are demanding best prices. And London rates for doing jobs, frankly, are too expensive for global clients. So by having an Indian studio, we're able to do UK work in India at a fraction of the price that we do it in the UK, but we really work hard to train up the local Indian talent to make sure they're at the global standards that we represent. And so, having said that though, India is our Indian office is very successful in its own right. Over 80% of the work that we do in India is direct to the Indian market, but 20% of the work we do there has come from the UK or from Shanghai or from Portland. And so it enables us to service our clients 24 hours a day. It enables us to add value to our clients' budgets, which is what clients are looking for, particularly in this day and age. And it enables us to sort of be slim on pricing but high on quality, and that's what we're always out to do. One of my favourite TV series is Mad Men. And when you watch Mad Men, at the very beginning season, you see people, the heroes of the Mad Men offices back in those 1960s were the guys that looked after print and radio advertising. And in that series, there's the one guy who becomes the head of TV, and they almost laugh at him like the TV guy. And then, as we know, later on, there was the TV. The TV was where the budget was. You nail that 30-second ad, and you build your campaign around the 30-second TV ad. But what we've seen more lately is that the biggest winners in the big festivals around the world are the digital campaigns. So it's gone from being the print and radio guy to the TV guy, but digital and interactive are where the ideas are coming from, and you're connecting your TV ad and your radio ad and your print ad to the interactive campaign. Things have really changed, and I think that technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality, they're going to, well, let me just say this actually. You know, Confucius said, tell me something and I'll forget it. Show me something and I'll remember it. Involve me and I'll understand it. And these technologies enable brands to communicate with their audiences in such a way that they really understand the message. And I think that that's going to be the area of the campaign that all the other ideas hook onto and come from. So where's it going to go in the next 5 years? Well, who knows? We might be able to do Beam Me Up Scotty in the next 5 years. I'm not going to predict what the technology is going to be able to do, but I am going to predict that it's immersive technologies which are going to direct campaigns.